punctuality. Those are the regulators. Let's get a round of applause for our all volunteer regulator staff. We'd also like to get a round of applause for our medics as well. We have volunteer medics that service us here at the Arizona Derby Dames Arena. We have medics on staff, being a contact sport. And we always toss out there, if you're somebody who's qualified as a medic, first responder type thing, we are always looking for people who would love to possibly just sit really close to roller derby action for 4 hours, but once in a while get called into action. If you're interested in looking into that, talk to anybody that looks like they're involved with the league. Come up here, find somebody with skate gear on, etc. We'll point you in the right direction. We'll be back with team intros in just a couple of minutes. All right, Derby fans, let's get this thing pumped back up and get ready to go, shall we? Who's ready for some Derby action? Taking the track from the near bench in their red kits this evening, it's the Bombshells. There's a woo from the Bombshells contingent in the crowd. Say it with me one time, Bombshells fans. Give them hell, Bombshells. Skating tonight for the Bombshells, number 3, Hugs and Stitches. Number 6, Anakin Shit Talker. Number 55, Skid Vicious. Number 68, Juicy Kill Tour. Number 75, 75, Fitzwilliam Darcy. So sorry. Number 114, Slappy Go Lucky. Number 182, Hannibal Lecter. Number 1029, Reckless Rose. Number 1897, Impaler Swift. Number 1931, Mickey Mental. Number 1986, Colombiach. Number 1999, Show Nuff. Co-captain of the Bombshells, number 17, Madison. And your captain of the Bombshells, number 6, Tornado Ellie. On the bench tonight for the Bombshells are Mama Seidel and Rough Rider. Now taking the track from the far bench, the defending league champion, Runaway Brides. Runaway Brides looking to get back into the title game for the several time in a row, get back and see if they can win another title. And the Runaway Brides start that process now with the following roster. Number 00, Novocaine. Number 19, Skeletori. Number 25, Nightmare. Number 38, NC Jammer. Number 100, Cryptic Callie. Number 151, Ash Smash'em. Number 420, Astro Thought. Number 623, Hollyhood. Number 669, Nikki Badass. Number 1981, Sandra Slay O'Connor. Number 7780, Pee Wee Vermin. Number 8055, number Boss, Frankenherder. Co-captain of the Runaway Brides, number 4, Cherry Kiss. Captain of the Runaway Brides, number 95, Lightning the Queen. On the bench tonight for the Runaway Brides, Jasmanian Devil and Bob Villain. Hello, it's Bob. All right, we are ready to go. Just a couple of seconds left on that bout countdown clock. We've got the regulators are checking everything, making sure the GoPro is on. All that is all recorded for bout review after the bout. We are ready to go. We've got 90 minutes of Derby action to determine who's going to face the Draggers in the championship. And it starts with this. We've got Cherry Kiss for the Runaway Brides, Skid Vicious for the Bombshells. An all-star jam to start things off if ever there was one. So here's what you're watching. For new people, those skaters at the back of the pack with the stars on their helmets are called jammers. You see how they've started behind the rest of the pack. The game is, you want to get your jammer out of the pack and keep them from getting their jammer out. You see with that cheer, getting out of the pack is Skid Vicious. Once your jammer gets out of the pack, they are able to score points. You score points by now passing the skaters. That's a point for Skid Vicious at the back. Now we have other points in the pack. Now Skid Vicious finishes off a scoring pass. What you just saw was eventually the jammer for the Brides got out. We'll go over that in a moment. The first jammer to get out is called, and it's what it says on the box, lead jammer. The lead jammer is allowed to stop the clock once they feel like they've scored all the points they can get, and then stop the other team from getting any, and that's exactly what you just saw. Skid Vicious got 4 points. That's pretty much your standard bank track roller derby jam is 4 and call it. If you can get 2, if you can get more than 4, it was a more productive than usual jam. That is how scoring works. Now, let's watch a little bit more of what's going on. This is Hollyhood for the Runaway Brides, and that's Tornado Alley for the Bombshells. Hollyhood is fighting to the front, but gets blocked off. But the blocker that knocked Hollyhood off came off the track. If a blocker knocks you off the track, you usually have to get on behind them. However, if that blocker doesn't stay on the track, you get to go on by. Hollyhood that time coming through on a scoring pass now that she's an active scorer and was able to cling along that inside boundary of the track and not get knocked off to complete a scoring pass. Tornado Alley is still trying to get out for the Bombshells at this point, hasn't been able to do so yet. 6 seconds left on the jam clock. Hollyhood gets back up on the track, is going to try to make sure she gets all those points on this pass, and does so. and she signals to call it off as the clock expires. Another thing that you saw in the first jam, that skater that starts at the front of the pack with a stripe on their helmet is called the pivot. And they're called that because they can pivot to become the jammer. The jammer is a, 1 second. All right, that was a 10-point jam for the Runaway Brides. Very productive indeed, as I mentioned. We were talking about pivots. The pivots start in the front. They're kind of the quarterback of the defense. But the jammer can take that star off and pass it to the pivot. That's exactly what the Brides did on that first jam. Cherry Kiss passed it to Lightning the Queen. In this second jam, now Skid Vicious at the front of the pack. And those last blockers, this is another very important thing about Bank Track Roller Derby. If you're more than 20 feet beyond the pack, where the referees will define the pack, you'll see them with their hands up and yelling signals. If you're more than 20 feet beyond the pack, you can no longer block the jammer. And so that's why those last two skaters had to let Skid Vicious go. Skid Vicious is trying to catch up to the pack and try to get some points. Signaling to call it off with Cherry Kiss coming in late. Cherry Kiss thinks she got points on the back end. Let's find out. I'm going to do some more score discussion, so I'll hang up for a second. That was a 3-point jam for the Bombshells, and 2 points for Cherry Kiss on the back end, so 12-7 Runaway Brides. This is Sandra Slay O'Connor for the Brides, jamming early in the game, and Anakin Shittalker, wearing just straight number 51 tonight for the Bombshells. We'll talk a little bit about penalties. The regulators, you'll hear them shouting out penalty codes down there on the infield. Number of illegal blocks. You can't stop. You can't go backwards. There's no stopping. You always have to be going forward at least infinitesimally. And in Bank Track Derby, those penalties are served on the next jam. So basically, a blocker means you would skate with the blocker down the entire next jam. Penalty on a jammer, we'll discuss that when it happens. As you see right now, neither jammer out yet. That's Anakin at the front of the pack, and Anakin is pushing against a solid 3-wall of blockers for the Brides. If you're new to Derby Dames Roller Derby, the Brides are kind of known for being defensively stout. Anakin gets the wave on by and gets out for the Bombshells with 7 seconds left. May not be enough time for her to get back to the pack, we'll have to see. Definitely not enough time to get back to the pack, and the clock expires. If you have any questions about what's going on the Derby track, seek us out during the quarter or halftime breaks. Come up here and ask me. I will explain anything you like. I love to tell people about what's going on this track. This sport jazzes me up incredibly, and I mean that. So that was no points for either side. Just under 10 minutes to go in the first half. 12-7 Brides still. Cherry Kiss for the Brides, Slappy Go Lucky for the Bombshells. Slappy right along the rail, found a great opening and takes off. The Bombshells fans are really cheering every time the Bombshells get lead jam. Vocal contingent. Slappy's got a half-track lead and is up into the pack already. Very swift skater, got right back to the pack. They're going to climb back up on the track and frantically calls it off. So 3 more for the Bombshells. They cut that lead to 12-10. There'll be about 9 minutes to go in the first half when this next jam starts. I'm already calling time checks. This bout is going to be that close. My goodness. You could either be calling time checks because a bout's really boring, or you could be calling time checks because you actually think there might be time running out in the game. There are 2 very different reasons to call a lot of time checks in announcing. This one's going to be one of those good ones. That's Mad as Sin for the Bombshells and Skeletori for the Brides, and Mads is out for the Bombshells. Bombshells are going to look to take the lead on this jam. Skeletori snatched the star off, stashed it, and got through the pack and gets out. Mad stays upright, weaves along the inside, called it, but apparently was not valid to call it off. Gets back up on the track and calls it off. Saw a signal back there from the referee, Merrill Streak. Let's find out what the score is going to be like. Mads does get all 4 of those points, but had to get back up to reestablish to call it off. Must have signaled to call it off when they were already off the track. I do not see any points for the Brides. Jam ref talking to the head ref. Don't see anything added. So, yep, Bombshells move in front, 14-12. Bombshells have the lead halfway through the first half. Skid Vicious for the Bombshells, Cherry Kiss for the Runaway Brides. And that's going to be lead jam again for the Bombshells. There goes Skid Vicious. Bombshells are playing very, very volatile here in the opening going. They've got lead jam once again. Cherry Kiss has the star off, turns around and calls out some defensive instructions. Here comes Skid up to the pack, is going to weave through and now hits that front wall of blockers for the Brides. Lightning McQueen is who that is going to knock Skid off balance, and Skid has to call it off. Both teams regularly getting both of their jammers out, but the Bombshells have had the slight edge so far. All right, 3 for the Bombshells. 17-12. Nightmare for the Runaway Brides. Tornado Alley for the Bombshells. Pretty full pack. Have not noticed a whole lot of penalties so far, so it seems like both teams are skating fairly clean. Alley moves up, but gets blocked to the back again. Oh, hard hit there along the inside from Pee Wee Vermin, and we've got Nightmare out of the pack for the Brides. Mary's out of the pack. Allie is not out yet. Allie gets blocked down to the inside. Mary blocked to the infield. Reckless Rose giving it all up for a block along the inside and knocks Mary completely off her skates. Now we've got Allie out the front of the pack, so here is Nightmare looking for an opening. All right, Runaway Brides put 3. Thank you. 3 on the board. 17-15 Bombshells. Nip and tuck back and forth bout. We got 1 blocker down for the Bombshells. Looks like this is going to be Skid Vicious and NC Jammer for the Brides. Stay tuned. I owe you updates on raffle prizes and silent auction as soon as we have them. Oh my goodness, it's a power jam. Okay. It is a power jam for the Runaway Brides in the early going. We've had a penalty on the Bombshells jammer, and there's going to be a timeout, it looks like. I see the Bombshells bench signaling. We'll wait for that to be made official. And here comes Crystal Ballbuster. All right, let's explain what just happened. That means that there was a penalty on the Bombshells jammer in the previous jam. And what that means is that the Bombshells do not get a jammer in the next jam. That means the Brides get to focus on offense only. And I can tell you, if the Brides are known for anything in particular, it is for making hay on the power jam. It's for stopping others and succeeding in theirs. So this is always a chess match when it comes down to watching power jams where the Brides are involved. So that'll be when we get back to the action. 5:39 to go in the first half. Right now the Brides in front the Bombshells in front 17-15. We've got silent auction and raffle prizes. We've got 4 silent auction items we would love you to go down and check out this evening. Here's what we've got for the silent auction. We have an art by Julia Sparkles Creations. It's a really cool looking glass painting of a skater. That's really neat. That's down there to check out. The other silent auction items are the $400 Lost Dutchman tattoo, the $300 Ray Riot tattoo, and the 60-minute Two Cheese Touch massage. Those are all down there at the silent auction table. There's a minimum bid for each of those. Check those out. Make a bid. Raffle prizes. Raffle tickets are 1 for $1. They are 6 for $5. For $20, you get 30. You don't have to have cash. We are taking Zelle. If you want to Zelle us for some raffle tickets, go down to the raffle table. We have Zelle now. You don't have to have cash. Here's your raffle prizes before the Brides Power Jam. I said Brides Power Jam, but that is the Bombshells out there on the Power Jam and not the Brides. After the timeout, it's a Bombshells Power Jam and not the Brides. And we're back to the action. I'll get you the raffle prizes as soon as I can. Wow, complete change in the dynamics. And Skid Vicious is out. It's a tiny, tiny pack. Just after I got done saying it's been pretty penalty light. The Brides only have 2 blockers. The Bombshells only have 2 blockers. This could be incredibly huge for the Bombshells, but they still got to deal with that Brides defense, and it's 2 very good defenders, Lightning the Queen and Holly Hood. Hugs and Stitches now springs forward. They're still frustrating Skid Vicious on this pass, and this is a very good defensive effort out of just 2 defenders on the Power Jam, and Skid calls it off. Great work by Holly Hood and Lightning the Queen to run that defensive effort during that Power Jam. All right, after discussion, 4 points for the Bombshells on that Power Jam. Successful Power Jam defense from the Brides, one would say. If you keep a Power Jam under, let's say, 7 or 8, I would say that's a defensive win. Anything around there is a push. But good points for the Bombshells. 4 points is huge and about where points are going to be at an absolute premium, as you see. I highly doubt either of these teams is going to hit 100 by the end of this game. We're back underway. I'll get you the jammers momentarily. I was rhapsodizing about scores and momentum. That's NC Jammer for the Runaway Brides, I can see from here. And your Bombshells jammer is, I think, Anakin at the back of the pack. Neither one out yet. More than halfway through the jam. Big block by Juicy, just wiped out Lightning, and then Madison returns the favor on the jammer, and then now those blockers are out of play. 10 seconds left, and so here comes NC Jammer for the Brides. Anakin's at the back of the pack and is going to line up to play jammer defense effectively. Formed a 2-wall at the back of the pack with Juicy, and they were able to slow down NC at the very least, and I honestly think, nope, looks like Anakin did get turned into a point, but just 2 points for the Brides. Effective defense at the back of the pack. 21-17 Bombshells. Bombshells still in front. 3 minutes to go until halftime. Sandra Slay O'Connor is on the jammer line for the Brides. Slappy Go Lucky for the Bombshells. It's an all AV crew jammer line setup. Oh, Slappy just got wiped out by Cryptic Callie. One minor assault to a former minor assault. Slappy bounces right back up, gets the star handed forward to the pivot, and that pivot is gone. That's Hugs and Stitches for the Bombshells. Stitches goes down in the back straightaway, tumbles over a down blocker, gets up to go on through for the Bombshells. 30 seconds left in the jam. Stitches with a coping jumped out along the inside. That is a humongous 10-point jam for the Bombshells. Really pumps that lead up here as we're getting close to the halftime break. 31-17, Bombshells are in front. This is going to be Cherry Kiss for the Brides. Madison for the Bombshells. Jam starts. Mads checked over her shoulder, kind of saw where Cherry was. is going to get blocked down towards the front. Now Mads is going to try to fight through at the front, gets blocked to the inside. Good blocking by Lightning McQueen. Cherry down to the infield. Mads up mid-pack now and is going to deal with that 3-wall of Brides blockers. Neither jammer's had any luck so far. Mads gets knocked down. There was a cheer from the crowd for that one. I didn't catch the hit myself, but apparently it was pretty zesty. Cherry at the back of the pack. 17 seconds left on the jam clock. Front wall of Brides defenders apparently was briefly out of play. I'm still watching as they come by me here. There goes Cherry, but that's going to do it pretty much for the jam clock, so that'll be no points for either side. We've got time for one more jam in the first half, and the Bombshells are trying to take the lead into the half on the Runaway Brides. Skid Vicious on the jammer line for the Bombshells. Skeletori for the Brides. Skaters off the track, so there's going to be a timeout of some flavor. Let's find out what this smells like. Crystal Ballbuster comes up and says, Brides have used their first half timeout. Each team gets one timeout each half for this half-length bout. So the Brides are going to talk it over. We've got 12 seconds to go until halftime. Bombshells in front, 31-17. This is usually when I would turn to my co-announcer. I don't have a co-announcer tonight. But I would turn to my co-announcer and say, surprising score, wouldn't you say? And my co-announcer would say, yeah, that's pretty interesting. Honestly, yeah, people would have thought that the Brides were going to be the favored team here. So I honestly feel like a score of this variety heading into halftime. The Bombshells are playing the Brides kind of game, which is defense heavy, and every point is chiseled in stone. And then they hit that big 10-point jam, and that was humongous. That's what we're facing right now. Here's a rundown of your raffle prizes. Get down there and patronize the raffle table and our vendors and our food truck during the halftime break. At the raffle table, these are the prizes. Again, $1 for one, $6 for $5, 30 for 20. Drop a 20, you get 30 tickets. And you can Zelle. You don't have to have cash. I'm so excited for that. I never carry cash. Noble Beast grab bag. It's a Noble Beast grab bag. It's a pet grab bag, a bunch of dog toys and etc. Switchblade Salon free haircut. Raven Sweet Haven choose your own pie. Siphon Draw Apothecary skincare bag. And the Dead Star tote bag and pick a book. That's the 5 raffle prizes. Make sure you get down there and check those out during our upcoming halftime break. 12 seconds to go until the half. This is Hollywood for the Runaway Brides. Skid Vicious for the Bombshells. Skid was more than happy to just light up and play jammer defense off the outset. Still doing so. Hood is going to get up to the front and, wow, gets around Swifty. Wow. That's a battle of 2 longtime skaters there, Impaler Swift and Hollywood. And Hollywood got the better of that one. And Hood is out for the Brides, and we are at the half. Bombshells jammer not yet out. This is what the Brides are looking for, would be to possibly string together more than one scoring pass and cut into that Bombshells lead. Hood down to the inside, gets through. Gets the wave on and goes on around. Skid Vicious now is functioning more like a goad. This is kind of looking like a Brides power jam, if anything. With Hollywood out there with the star on. That's not that far out of the realm of possibility. Hollywood blocked down to the inside. Clock expires on the jam. Let's check on the score, but that's going to tighten things up as we head into the break. Oh, Hollywood got all 10. That's a big 10-point jam for the Brides. So there you go. We go into halftime just as close as we figured it was going to be. 31-27, the Bombshells are in front. Just a 5-minute halftime break. Get down there and buy some raffle prizes. Check out our vendor village. We'll talk more about what we got going on as we come back. I'm Clofton P. Grudge. These are the playoffs. Less than a minute to go. We're just about to get back to the action. 31-27. The Bombshells are in front.
Yeah, I'm so used to looking at the like the regular.
All right, bear with me one moment. I don't know what happened. I had the Twitch on just so I could watch for questions and whatnot. And somehow my phone got closed. There we go. Hey, it's my 4-month subiversary. All right, we are actually ready to get back to the action. Keep in mind, we've got some breaks between the bouts. We've got Rosie's Kitchen, Italian and sandwiches outside as your food truck option. Raven Sweet Haven also has a number of savory options, hand pies and the like, sausage rolls that are delicious. Get that scallion roll down there at Raven Sweet Haven. That is an option down there in the vendor village for foodstuffs. We're back to it. The battle to see who will go on to face the winner of this second bout. Whoever wins this bout has more to do. Lightning the Queen gets, both jammers got rocked hard. Skid Vicious got hit hard right off the line, got rolled over onto the infield, and then Lightning took over his jammer as the pivot, and Lightning got blocked hard into the rail, went up into the kick plate. The Bombshells are not fooling around. The Brides with that big 10-point regular jam to end things in the first half. Now Skid is up towards the front and is going to go ahead and call it off before getting blocked down one more time. So that's 4 for the Bombshells, 35-27 Bombshells in front. Cherry Kiss for the Runaway Brides. Tornado Alley for the Bombshells. Looks like we've got mostly full pack, except for that one pack where I called myself out on it. It's been pretty penalty light, give or take. Cherry Kiss gets through the pack for the Brides, gets past that last blocker and is out. God, here comes Tornado Alley fast up to the pack. Lightning the Queen is there to slow down that rush and turned Alley down towards the infield. So Brides have the upper hand in this jam for sure. Here comes Cherry Kiss trying to get through with Alley not yet out. Alley tries to follow Cherry right through the pack. Wow, I don't know how Alley fought through. I do not know how Alley fought through those blocks. That's flabbergasting that Alley stayed upright. Cherry Kiss is going to get back up to the pack, runs into a 2-wall and calls it off. Anyway, you see things sometimes on the Derby track that you really just make you do like Jack Buck did. I don't believe what I just saw. The old Jack Buck call. I don't believe what I just saw. It's really, honestly, seriously. 35-33, the Brides put 6 points on the board, and it's going to be a Runaway Brides Power Jam. Brides are going to send Cherry Kiss out there to run their power offense. Wow, it is going to be this is momentous. The Brides could take the lead here. And how things play out could put a lot of points on the board. Oh, goodness, it is a big pack advantage. This is a big advantage for the Brides. The Brides have all 4 blockers, and it's a power jam. The Bombshells only have 2 blockers. The Brides can put 2 blockers on each of the Bombshells blockers. This could be really huge for the Runaway Brides right here. 12:17 to go in regulation. Here comes Cherry Kiss. They've got the pack staggered out. Cherry up to the high side. Good blocking by Stitches. Good work by Hugs and Stitches at the front of the pack. Remaining an active blocker, staying in play and slowing Cherry down, which is the important part of this power jam when you're out there with just 2 defenders. 17 seconds left on the power jam. Cherry is going to, this time, is able to get by Stitches on the front of the pack with 10 seconds left on the clock. Cherry's looking for a 3rd scoring pass, and I told you about the Brides making sure they get their points on power jams. This is when they do it. And a relatively easy last pass for Cherry Kiss. Let's check on the score from the infield. All 15 of them. That's 15 points for the Runaway Brides on the Power Jam. Brides spring in front, 48-35. The complete complexion of the game has changed. Sandra Slay O'Connor on the jammer line for the Runaway Brides. Madison for the Bombshells. Suddenly, the Brides, with all the momentum, Mad's trying to get clear along the inside. Sandy is nearly along the inside, but was blocked off at the last moment, so neither jammer out yet. Mads gets blocked down to the infield hard by that front wall of Brides blockers. Again, neither jammer out yet. Sandy is the jammer for the Brides. Sandy's got the star in their hand. Mads is up with that front wall of blockers. We're just kind of watching the packs move on down the front straightaway. Mads checking over her shoulder, watching Sandy. Time clicking down, and that is going to do it for that jam. That's 60 seconds off the clock, no points either side. Brides would be happy to get some jams like that with this lead that is going to qualify as big at the moment, 48-35. We will find out what the team strategies are as we're under 10 minutes to go in regulation. Nightmare for the Brides. And for the Bombshells, that is Skid Vicious. Mary blocked around, is now going to get clear at the front for the Brides. Nightmare is out. Mary up to the pack now. We're looking for Skid, who is now going to break clear and try to just outrun Hood to the end of the pack. Hood now out of play, and Skid does get out. So now Mary is going to run into Stitches. And that'll do it. Whistle blows. Nightmare was in the middle of the pack. So that's 3 more points for the Brides, 51-35. Brides are in front with 8:30 to go in regulation here in the second half. Skeletori for the Brides. And for the Bombshells, Anakin. There's discussion going on. I see hand signals. I see a jammer in the penalty box. There's going to be a stoppage in play because there's a lot of confusion. Definitely got a jammer in the penalty box for the Brides. That's Nightmare, but there is still a jammer on the line for the Brides. So this is going to be an official timeout at the moment, 51-35. Now another whistle. There it is. We've got a Runaway Brides challenge. So the Brides are going to utilize their second half challenge. I would imagine, one would think, that is going to be that would be on the jammer. I see Nightmare down there in the penalty box. We'll find out after the challenge discussion is over what the penalty was and what the outcome is. 8:27 to go in regulation. Runaway Brides have swung in command of this bout, 51-35. The Brides are now steering this boat and are going to be basically now trying to stay in front and protect this lead. And then to find out who they're going to face, if it'll be the Valkyries or the Brutal Beauties from this evening's second bout. Your vendors this evening, I mentioned Raven Sweet Haven. We've also got Green Irish Moon. All manner of leather and skate goods. Get down there and check that out. Dead Star Press is here with the Bookmobile. They've also got one of the raffle prizes down there that you're aware of. The after party is at Thunderbird Lounge on 7th Avenue, just north of Indian School, so bookmark that for later. And as mentioned, today's food truck, Rosie's Kitchen, Italian food and sandwiches. Check that out. between bouts during halftime, etc. Championship bout is Saturday, May 16th. Coffin Draggers versus question mark? Coffin Draggers versus whoever wins the last bout tonight, am I right? We'll have to see. While this challenge continues, let's go through some of our sponsor mentions, why don't we? At the Rhea Riot Collective, Rhea Riot Tattoo, Private Studio, tattoos and laser tattoo removal come with zero judgment and all the good vibes. Whether you're adding new art or letting go of the old, you'll always find a safe, inclusive, and chill space made just for you. That's at Rhea Riot. They have one of our silent auction items, the Rhea Riot $300 tattoo. Lost Dutchman Tattoo. Lost Dutchman is one of the Derby Dame's longtime sponsors. They've been donating since 2011. Lost Dutchman Tattoo is dedicated to providing a safe and inclusive environment for all as an ally to the LGBTQIA community. We are committed to fostering a welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Our talented artists specialize in a variety of tattoo styles, including traditional, fine line, black and gray, new traditional, and Japanese. They invite both appointments and walk-ins to experience the artistry. Lost Dutchman is Tuesday to Saturday, 12 to 8, 19th Avenue and Indian School Road. Challenge unsuccessful. Challenge unsuccessful. Penalty stands on the jammer for the brides. This is an incredibly consequential Bombshells power jam. 8:27 to go in regulation, and the Bombshells are down by 16. The Bombshells would love nothing more than to rip off double-digit points here and make this a single-digit lead or less, perhaps. Slappy-go-lucky at the jammer line for the Bombshells. Underway we go. The Bombshells have definitely had a lot of time to talk strategy. Slappy right to the front. Runs into a blocker, runs into Lightning, and then Lightning kind of... I didn't quite catch what happened because Slappy hit Lightning and then Pee Wee Vermin went down. Was the collision that hard? My God. Anyway, Slappy gets out. 40 seconds to go in the Bombshells power jam. Slappy is quickly up to the front, and that two-wall at the front this time up to the task. Madison closes the door. Mad's there to shut that wall down and let Slappy out. 26 seconds to go. Second scoring pass for Slappy-Go-Lucky. That defender at the back of the pack, Cherry Kiss, highly effective. Always remember, kids, just because you're a goad doesn't mean you're helpless. Cherry Kiss did a lot there to slow down that scoring pass for Slappy-Go-Lucky. All by her lonesome at the back of the pack. So now Slappy is going to get ridden up to the rail. Lightning is locked in now, and Slappy's going to call it off, or the clock expired. I'm not sure which. Let's check on it. It's still a pretty big output. By the standards of this game, it's 8 big points for the Bombshells. Cuts the lead in half. The lead is now 8 for the Brides. 51-43, the lead's back down to single digits. There'll be about 7 minutes to go in regulation when this jam starts. It's going to be Skeletori for the Runaway Brides. Anakin Shit-Talker for the Bombshells. Bombshells have upset on their mind, and they're looking to hack into this lead. Every lead jam is going to be so important and about this close with this little time left. Tori stays upright along the inside, but is not out yet. Is now out. Tori gets out for the Brides. It's what the Brides are looking for. Here comes your pivot now for the Bombshells. Tornado Alley puts the star on, takes over his jammer. Here's Skeletori up to the front of the pack. Good defense on the front of the pack. And Tori gets blocked down to the inside. We've got Allie in the pack now scoring points as well. Allie is going to try to finish this scoring pass if she can. Is going to weave through. Gets it done. And the bench is waving the go on around flag. And why not? Allie gets out first. And so Allie's going to try to make this a net gain for the Bombshells. That's a flat track style jam. Allie's trying to make this basically 9-5. Allie gets blocked off too and has to call it off. Not going to be a full scoring pass for the Bombshells, but they will get a net advantage on the jam. Eight for the Bombshells, 4 for the Brides. 55-51. The lead is cut in half again. It is now 4 with 5.5 minutes to go in regulation. The Brides are in front. That is Cherry Kiss on the jammer line for the Brides. And that is Skid Vicious for the Bombshells. Going to be seeing a lot of familiar names on the jammer line here late in the game with everything on the line. Skid is up towards the front. Cherry gets routed off at the back. Skid takes a hard fall. Moves up again. Cherry is still pinned at the back. Solid 3-wall of defenders at the back for the Bombshells. Skid is still not out. NC is up to the task, and there's Lightning with another block and knocks Skid sideways, but Skid gets up and goes on. Blockers out of play. 34 seconds left. Bombshells have what they need. They've got their jammer out. Here's Cherry Kiss at the back of the pack to play some defense. Excellent block by Cherry. Really great targeted block, and I'm so lucky I was like that close to get to see it, but Cherry literally put her butt right where it needed to be to basically knock Skid kind of fold up like a Swiss Army knife. Really great targeted blocking. Again, at the back of the pack, just one blocker back there. Let's see what developed. Bombshells get 5 points and they take the lead. Bombshells have clawed back and are in front, 56-55. There will be about 4 minutes and 15 seconds to go in regulation when this whistle blows. It is Madison and Sandra Slay O'Connor for the Brides. Look at this. And we might have a stoppage and no, I said we might. We still might. We will. Skaters off the track. Now it's official. All right. Everybody go take a metoprolol. 56-55. Bombshells are in front with 4:09 to go in regulation. Fighting for the right to face the winner of the Valkyries versus Brutal Beauties later this evening. Well. Switchblade Salon, one of our raffle prize donators, established in 2005 as a queer-owned and operated salon whose mission is to be a safe space in the community where every client is comfortable being exactly who they are, providing body-positive, gender-affirming hair creations to encourage and inspire individuals to be their most authentic selves. Stylists at the salon, one of whom is standing 10 feet away from me, specialize in progressive short hair, blonding, creative color, mullets, and shags. If you're looking for an inclusive space and amazing hair, look no further. Switchblade Salon is located in Central Phoenix off 16th Street and Indian School. For more information, head over to their website at switchbladesalon.com and on Instagram. We wanted to mention, again, the raffle prizes. 1 for $1, 6 for $5. Drop 20, you get 30 tickets. That's right, $20, you get 30 free tickets. We take Zelle. It doesn't just have to be cash anymore. We take Zelle. So head down there, there's a Zelle thing, and you can Zelle them some money and they'll give you raffle tickets. Get in there and get these raffle prizes. It is a Noble Beast grab bag. It's kind of sitting out in front of it. You can see it's like dog toys and whatnot. You drop your raffle ticket in the bag of the prize you want, by the way. So if you don't have a dog, don't worry. You're not going to wind up with the Noble Beast gift bag. Switchblade Salon. Again, if you're bald, you don't have to win the Switchblade Salon. I'm just saying. Raven Sweet Haven. If you're diabetic like me, they have savory goods. Or, get what you want. Noble Beast grab bag of dog items and fun goods. Switchblade Salon, free haircut. Raven Sweet Haven, pie of your choosing from Raven Sweet Haven. The Siphon Draw skincare bag. Yeah, see, there you go. If you have terrible skin and you don't want to improve your skin, you don't have to put your tickets in the Siphon Draw bag. And the Dead Star tote bag and pick a book. Those are the raffle prizes. We're back to the action. My goodness, it is a Bombshells Power Jam. After that timeout, it's a jammer penalty. I heard a block on 4 on Cherry Kiss. It is a low block on Cherry Kiss. Apparently that block that I was raving about was illegal. My goodness. That's why I'm not an official. I'm sitting here giving plaudits on that block, and it had to have been that block. So the Brides are going to try to stifle this power jam as best they can. Slappy Go Lucky started with the star, handed it forward to Tornado Alley. Alley is also not yet out, is now out. Gets by Hollywood on the front of the pack. Wow, the Bombshells really hold all the cards here in the late going. Power jam, a chance to put points on the board and run time off the clock. Great block by Lightning McQueen, and not just a great block, but stayed on the track. Wow, like leaned all the way over like a cartoon character and then came back. 10 seconds left. That was such a critical block by Lightning. Good blocks like that don't get enough credit. Seriously, what a critical block to slow that scoring pass down. That could be all the difference for the Brides if they can end up coming back to win this thing. Bombshells get 5 points. Excellent power jam defense by the Brides to keep that from being any worse. Fantastic. There'll be about 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go when this whistle blows. The Bombshells are in front by 6. NC Jammer for the Brides and Anakin for the Bombshells. I'm wearing a mask and I keep fogging up my glasses, gosh darn it. Talking too fervently. Anakin is at the front of the pack. He's going to get spun down towards the infield. Brides Jammer takes a whip off of their own blocker at the front of the pack, and that Brides Jammer is out, NC Jammer. Brides need lead jam, and Brides need they need more than one scoring pass. Hugs and Stitches has taken over as jammer, but has not put the star on yet for the Bombshells. Spinning, pivoting, pirouetting, trying to find an opening. The jammer for the Brides gets blocked down hard along the inside. I can't see a thing. My goodness. I just heard that's your jammer, at least I think I did, so let's put a bookmark in that. Somebody could have a power jam coming up. I see double jammer down signals, what I saw from Bender B. Rodriguez, so let's put a bookmark in that. What an active jam. The Brides put 3 points on the board, so the Brides cut the lead in half. I've said that multiple times now in this second half. There's going to be a timeout. It is team timeout. The Runaway Brides are going to use their second half timeout. I see officials signaling double jammer down. I do see NC Jammer in the penalty box. So that does mean neither team gets a penalty jam. It does mean I did hear that's your jammer from the infield. So let's find out what's going to happen. We got 1:24 to go. That means break it down. Game reset, as I've said. Somebody said, what do you mean by game reset? I said, I don't know. Watch Mike Breen on NBA sometime. Game reset. 1:24, second half. We've got the Bombshells are in front by 3. Whichever team gets lead jam in this jam can easily take the lead if they successfully get their standard 4 points. There is time for at least 2 jams, possibly a third if the clock stops fast enough on one of these, but more than likely, probably 2 jams. So whichever team takes the lead in this jam or maintains the lead is going to have to defend it. There are at least 2 jams left, and that's even before we get to penalty jams. If you're new to Bank Track, at the end of the game, if the team that is ahead has a penalty on it and the team that is behind skates penalty free, we have what is called penalty jams. And it's an overtime jam, and that could be incredibly consequential. So here we go. Hollywood for the Brides. We've got skaters off the track. There was some confusion as the skaters were coming up. I saw Skid Vicious looking around and asking if she was supposed to be up there. The Bombshells are now going to use their second half timeout. Yeah, no, this isn't a consequential jam or anything. I don't think I've ever seen both teams use their timeouts before the same jam. Seriously. All the marbles about to come off the table here in one fashion or another. Let's tell you once again about your silent auction items. $400 Lost Dutchman tattoo. $300 Ray Riot tattoo, the 60-minute Tucci's Touch massage, and the art piece, the glass, beautiful little painted art piece by Julia Sparkles. Kind of got to go check it out. It's like a skater That's the best I could say. It's like a skater, you know? You got to go look at it and check it out. That's the silent auction. Get down there, check out those bids. Consider making a bet on one of those. We will give those away during the last bout of the evening. You do need to be present to win. Ten seconds to go in this timeout. I see we've been joined by Johnny Pepper in the Twitch chat. So now I have to start calling the penalty box the Pepper Patch because Johnny Pepper's here. We've got Hollywood on the jammer line for the Brides, Skid Vicious for the Runaway Brides. Underway we go. Skid right through, Hollywood right up behind. Hollywood blasts through, Skid called it off. Hood fervently disagrees, as Hood is wont to do. But Skid, according to the regulators, called it off in time. Hood says nonsense and goes directly back out there because that was honestly, now Hood's just warmed up now. So Hood goes right back up on the track for the Brides and Slappy-Go-Lucky for the Bombshells. Like I said, if the clock gets called off real fast, there could be 3 jams. No points for either side in that one. And no penalties. Big full pack out there. Clock running. A long jam where neither jammer gets out would end the game for the Bombshells. Don't forget, we're under a minute to go in regulation, so if neither jammer can get out, the Bombshells would end regulation in front. We'd have to look at penalty jams. Everybody tumbles. Most everybody down. Hood's looking for, trying to figure out where she's supposed to get back up on the track. Slappy is up towards the front. We got a skater spun all the way off onto the infield. Hood gets out for the Brides. Regulation clock expires in 3, 2, 1. We're at the end of regulation. There's 13 seconds left in the jam. Here comes Hood for the Brides to get some points. Gets knocked off to the infield. 7 seconds left on the jam clock. Hood gets back up to reestablish. How many points did she get? She's looking. And the clock's going to expire. So let's find out about penalty jams and how many points we just got there. 4 points for the Brides. The Brides take the lead, and we're at the end of regulation. 62-61. Hood knew she had all 4 of those points. Knew. She had to have known. There's no way she would have been holding up at the end of that jam. Yeah, she's nodding. Yes. Yeah, right. Jammer awareness and all that. Yes. Was pretty sure. 62-61. Do we have a penalty jam? There's no whiteboard tonight. Not that I could see it if we had one. No, I know there's none, but I'm saying it does not look like it. I think this is going to be a final whistle. That's it! In the last jam of the game, down 3, they get 4 points, and moving on in the playoffs with the final score of 62-61. It's the Runaway Brides. What about? Come on down trackside and slap hands with these skaters. Victorious are the Runaway Brides, and here come the Bombshells as well. Let's hear it for the Bombshells. They were in this thing right up until the very last jam. Had upset on their minds and nearly pulled it off. Just came up 1 point short. What a bout to start things off here in the playoffs. Okay, before we drop off on Twitch, we were told 20 minutes between bouts, so that would mean the next bout is going to start at exactly 6:15. We will bring you the team intros maybe shortly before, maybe right on the downbeat, depending. So we were told 20 minutes, so 6:15 is where it stands right now. I'll update you if that changes at all. 62-61, and the Brides move on to face the winner of the Valkyries versus the Brutal Beauties later this evening. Well, I'm good and warmed up. We'll be back with you momentarily.